As any 3PL owner knows, getting your billing right is one of the most important parts of your entire business. If your billing's overpriced, then it's gonna be hard to get and retain customers.
Could you find a way to let me down slowly? A little.
If you're not charging enough, you're gonna be in the red, you're gonna be losing money. And if it's overly complicated, then you and your customers are both gonna be confused, and actually billing your customers is going to be near impossible. So we're gonna go over a simple guide today to talk about how a 3PL might wanna set up their pricing and billing in order to not confuse their customers, not overcharge or undercharge them. If you don't know who I am, I'm Brady Agronoff. I'm a co-founder of Warehance. We're a modern WMS, and if you're looking for your first WMS or an upgrade from what you currently have, go in the link down in the description below. You can either request a demo or get a 60-day free trial. Let's get started. There's a number of different categories that you're gonna wanna bill on to make sure that you are not losing money, but also that you're making the appropriate amount of money. So let's go one by one through each of these and see how you might approach the billing structure for each. Let's first talk about storage. There's a few main ways that 3PLs will bill for their storage. And so it just kind of depends on the structure of your items that your clients have, but also the structure of your warehouse and how simple or complicated you want to make it. So we'll go over a couple of the most common ones. The first is going to be billing by location, and that's either per day, per week, or per month. So if I'm billing by location, by month, each location that one of my clients' products occupy during a given month will get charged, let's say $15 per location. So that will cover the cost of the entire month. And so if my client has products in, let's say, 20 different locations in the warehouse over the course of the month, then they might get charged 20 locations times that $15 per location, and that will end up being about $300. Now, this might be too simplistic when it comes to your locations, because maybe you want to charge a different amount for a pallet versus a small bin in the picking area. And so you can do that as well, where when you're setting up billing rules, like in Warehance, you can specify the location type and how much you want to charge for that location type, so that a pallet can be billed at a different price than a bin will. Another common way to bill for 3PL storage is going to be by the volume of the product that a client is storing. This is usually calculated by your WMS through the product dimensions, and then you can take those product dimensions and add them together. Again, the WMS is usually doing this work, and it will give you a calculation at the end what volume of product that client actually stored in the warehouse for that given period of time. A general principle for charging for storage is that a lot of warehouses don't actually make money on the storage charges, but rather just try to break even on the space. And either way, it's okay if you decide to maybe up your storage prices a little bit in order to make some money, or if you decide to leave yourself very little margin so that you're just covering the costs and making your money elsewhere. The next category that 3PLs are going to bill off of typically is going to be pick and pack fees. This also often goes under the name of order fees. So there's a few different ways to bill this pick and pack fee, and the most common way is going to be by item number. And so what does this mean? Let's say that I'm going to pick an order with 5 items in it. I might charge $2 for the first item, meaning I'm going to charge $2 for the entire order, including one item. And then for any additional items, so items 2 through 5, I might charge 30 cents each. So this allows you to get a baseline order fee, but then also get a pick fee for any additional items. There's a number of different ways to bill here, but this is just the most common. Another consideration here is you might have products like inserts that you don't actually want to bill for when you're doing picking, so you might provide free inserts for your customers. Now this is typically pretty difficult to actually bill for, but in Warehance we have a feature called modifications, which essentially allows us to do some really complex billing tasks, such as this one, that allows you to exclude any inserts from being charged. But this is just a free offering. A lot of 3PLs will give their customers in order to kind of get them in the door. One thing that's important to note here is pick and pack fees actually apply for every single order, regardless of how it was shipped. So if it gets shipped via batch or via zone picking, doesn't matter. Those actually both get considered picks, and then you can charge them the same way, or you can charge differently for a batch ship versus a shipping from typical zone picking flow. The third category that you're going to want to charge on as a 3PL is going to be postage. So if you're a 3PL who has really good rates and marks up those rates slightly to their customers, then you're going to want to make sure that you are marking up maybe 5 or 10% or doing a flat fee on top, whatever agreement you have with your customers. But even if you don't mark it up, you're still going to want to make sure that you are billing your customers for the rates that you're using to purchase those packages. So one caveat here is that some clients will choose to use their own rates, and that's fine. You don't want to bill them for that. But if you're 3PL, you're using your carrier account rates for your customers. You want to make sure that you're getting your money back for the postage that you purchased. Whether or not that includes markup or not, totally up to you, but that is one place that a lot of 3PLs make most of their money. So category 4 is kind of in the same vein as category 3, and that's going to be postage, but this time on return labels. So most 3PLs are going to just charge the exact same markup that they do for normal postage on return postage, if they're paying for postage at all. So some clients are going to pay for return postage themselves, either through a platform like Loop or Shopify Returns, or they are going to make their customers pay for the return label, in which case you as a 3PL don't have to bill for label postage at all. But if you're purchasing the return postage, then you're going to want to mark that up either a little bit or just pass along the cost of the postage. Continuing with returns, the 5th category is going to be returns processing. So this is going to be when you receive the return to the warehouse, you're going to want to charge for the actual processing of that return. So that's going to be the unpackaging, the evaluation of the condition, as well as the put away for these items, and then maybe handling anything that you have to throw away if the return actually is damaged and you need to get rid of that. Charging for that disposal as well is also an option. This is another place that a lot of 3PLs are going to want to charge for, because not only does it take a lot of time and labor to actually get these returns processed, but it breaks up the flow of the rest of your warehouse a lot of times. So making sure you charge for that, whether it's going to be just to cover your costs of labor or a little bit more on top, is going to be really important for any 3PL. So the 6th category, and a really important one, is going to be packaging. So this is going to be your packaging materials such as boxes, maybe paper filling, bubble wrap, poly bags, whatever that you use as your packaging materials to ship out these orders. Every warehouse has to pay a certain amount for each box that they buy and use at their warehouse. And so passing along that cost to your customers and maybe even a little margin on top is not only a great way for you to cover your costs as a business, in fact, you have to, but also for you to maybe make a little bit of margin on top. So figuring out the packaging costs for maybe each different box and different packaging materials that are going to go in that box is really important and a really good way to be transparent about your pricing with your customers. Packaging is something that is really easy to bill for in Warehands. So you choose for each packaging type, how much do you want to charge? And then when you generate your bill, for every parcel that went out, you will get a charge added for a certain amount based off of the packaging that was used. Another really important thing you need to charge for in your warehouse is going to be receiving. So that's going to be actually processing the inventory that comes in from these purchase orders that your customers are making. Now, there's a number of different ways to charge for receiving. Some people are going to charge by the pallet. Some people are going to charge by the case, maybe the item, but a number of people are also going to charge by just the labor hours that it took. So the number of hours it took for your workers or for you personally to receive that inventory into the warehouse and put it away. Now, it's really important not to underestimate the amount of time and labor it's going to take to receive the product, because receiving is something that takes a while and it's pretty difficult to do, but it's super important to get right. So making sure to leave yourself enough room that you are not losing money on receiving is super important. So maybe give yourself a little bit more room than you'd expect there. But if you've been receiving for a really long time, you probably know exactly how long it's going to take you to receive certain products and do it correctly. So next, we're going to talk about value-added services. So this is going to be things such as kitting, maybe custom attachments on your orders for personalization. Maybe this is going to be just certain tasks around the warehouse to prepare these orders. So that's maybe not kitting. And maybe something on receiving. You have certain tasks that you have to do for clients that is going to be different from other tasks. And these are all things you're going to want to charge for. They take labor, they take time, and you have to make sure you get them right. Charging for these are typically going to be done through ad hocs. So this is a really good way to write down what is it you did, how long it took you, and also what day you did it on, and then how much you're charging. These ad hocs will then get applied to bills when you generate them. There are some value-added services like kitting that we can actually charge for based off of charge rules in Warehands, and some of those you can apply to your billing profile in order to automate the billing there. So lastly, we're going to be talking about reoccurring fees. So a number of 3PLs will charge a fee monthly just to be a customer of the 3PL. in order to cover their costs in case that customer doesn't ship a lot. And that might just be your monthly fee, and you can do that in your billing profile. You also can charge something like a WMS fee, which I've seen a number of 3PLs do as well. So today we've gone over a number of different categories where not only can you, but you're going to want to bill your customers as a 3PL. Everything that we talked about today can be billed for easily in Warehance. Again, we're a modern WMS. If you want a WMS, go to the link in the description below. One of us can walk you through a demo, or you can get a 60-day free trial just to get started. Happy shipping.